But I think it's really cute because it almost reminds me of like fairies. So you may have fairies in your house or fairies in your garden.
I'd see a jet black tall man walk swiftly through the old main door and through a newly added wall.
But I also, from my side, since I subscribe a bit more to the idea of myths that are out there, that there's always a basis in reality of a myth, is there might be actually more.
Everything was fine and most were sound asleep. 5 or 10 minutes later, a third resident used the buzzer and asked me to shh the children. Welcome, everyone. We are the Munch Corner podcast. I am Savannah, and this is my husband, Omar. And we are bringing something spooky to you today. Spooky Christmas.
We
Special
love
edition.
Christmas and we love Halloween. So what could
Why?
be better than
Putting them
spooky
together.
Christmas?
Exactly.
Okay, so I know we're going to jump right into everything.
Yes.
I brought our classic teas. So we have Ceylon today in our wonderful mushroom cups.
I won't say no to Ceylon.
And of course, mine has a little bit of a frog, which I love to have. But in the spirit of Christmas, we brought cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Homemade chocolate chip cookies.
And we'll leave some for Santa. Don't worry, everyone.
Santa will have some more, and I will do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And these are way too good to pass up. Mm-hmm.
That is good.
Wow. So, well, these are good.
All right. Sorry to those who don't like hearing others chew. I'm one of them. I cannot stand the sound of someone chewing. And I say that very lovingly to my husband.
She does, very, very lovingly towards me. And I try to make every effort to make sure I'm not doing that. So.
It very politely starts with a nudge, a shoulder nudge. And then if he doesn't quiet down with the chewing, it will be another one. And then eventually it will be like an elbow put down because it's too much chewing.
And for those of you that see Savannah's absolute sweetness in her smile, there are claws that come with that too as well. And she does not have any... compunction of not using them. So,
well, with that being said, let us start with our first spooky story.
I love this.
So
this
our title is Haunted Christmas Tree ?
Oh my gosh, a tree that's haunted?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be fun. I don't think haunted houses, but a haunted Christmas tree. This is going to be a tradition that will pass on. All right, let's see what it is.
Let's go. So this happened when I was a kid, December 1980. I was at a neighbor's apartment with my sister. I remember we were watching the Sugar Ray Leonard Roberto Duran No Mass fight. I'm guessing it must have been a rebroadcast of the fight because the fight actually happened on November 25th, the 1980. And we were watching it in December. There were 3 of us in the room, me, 10 years old, my younger sister, 8 years old, and our neighbor, I think she was a couple of years older than me. Our moms were hanging out at my apartment 2 doors down. So we're sitting on a couch which faces the front window. The TV is to our right. There is a Christmas tree in front of the window, probably 10 feet from the couch. Okay. I remember looking at the Christmas tree and seeing an ornament jiggle.
This is good.
I asked the girls if they saw that, and they said no. I said an ornament moved, but they didn't believe me. So I got up and walked over to the tree. As I was walking over, I saw the ornament jiggle again.
Well, but was there any witnesses, though? Clearly.
Who knows? When I got about 2 feet from it, the ornament popped off of the tree and hit me square in the chest and fell to the ground. There's a lot of humor in this one. Funny thing was that I wasn't scared. I asked the girls if they saw that. Of course, they didn't.
So he's actually 10 years old, right?
He says 10, and his sister was 8.
Yeah, so this is why they don't believe him, because they think he's a 10-year-old. He's making it up. He's messing with them, right?
So they didn't believe me either. I remember it like it was yesterday.
This is a cute one to me because it sounds
he remembers it to this day.
Wow, I mean, how could you forget something like that? Mm-hmm. But I think it's really cute because it almost reminds me of like fairies. Mm-hmm. So you may have fairies in your house or fairies in your garden. So for those of you that haven't heard fairy stories, They are, on the one hand, mischievous and playful, but they also they go out of their way to be noticed, but very subtly. And I think usually children are the ones who are most able to kind of have an affinity
It's a
and sort
very
of see.
playful interaction most of the
So I don't
time.
know if I call that a haunting, but it's definitely something very spooky a little bit. But it's fun to see that's actually something he would actually remember. Would be there. Now, if it was only one ornament, that would have been nice if his sister or his sister and the neighbor actually believed him too. The 8-year-old would have kind of bought into the idea, but Christmas fairies are
But if they
kind of
didn't
fun.
see it themselves, they wouldn't believe it. We
No,
have
unfortunately
we
not.
have a comment here that
Ah,
has
okay.
a probably an explanation,
All right,
if
let's
to
hear
say
this.
so. So interesting. So I guess this was an artificial tree. Could
Was
a
it?
ghost be attached to the tree? They
They're
didn't
asking the
say.
question. Okay.
They responded afterwards. So could a ghost be attached to the tree? Maybe the ornament itself, especially if it's handmade or has sentimental value, or it
Mm.
could just have been a coincidence that that particular object was used. Spirits come to a place during a significant time for them or a family member or friend, holidays, anniversaries, and birthdays. So the person did say it was a real tree.
So I think the real tree does make a little more sense because it's much more tied to the world of nature.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the idea of how this person went through their logic and thinking it through. It's almost like they're a paranormal investigator. Let's figure this
Yes.
out. Let's see if it's the ornament or if we see if it's the tree.
Talk
But
about having, what is it, that little magnifying glass trying to
oh yeah, like
inspect
a
the
detective,
tree.
right?
Yes.
So you remember I got you one time a Scottish smoky crystal that's independent.
Yes.
So the reason that was so significant at the time was because it actually, the tree spirits, according to Scottish lore, are drawn to smoky quartz. So I thought that would be something that would be beautiful for you to have.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
why would there not be a tree spirit to a tree that's over there? And the tree spirit may have said, hey, I want you to see me and remember that I'm a tree spirit, that I'm here. Oh, so it's essentially come back to the little fairies that come with trees.
And so, of course, and obviously, this child's carried this memory throughout all these
And
years.
success, because the child has carried these memories all the way through and remembers them actually very fondly. So this adds to, yes, a little paranormal, a little spooky, but
A wonderful encounter.
a wonderful encounter.
So someone else said the Christmas tree didn't like the decorations.
That would be the humor, I think, of a fairy. It's like, yeah, I don't particularly like that particular
Get that
ornament.
one out of here.
Let's get that one out of here. I'm going to go ahead and just flick it over to you.
It's a cute
It's a
little guess.
cute story.
So our next one is creepy Christmas present.
Okay, I think we went a little bit darker than I expected, but all right. So let's see what creepy Christmas presents there are.
So as many of you probably know, last night was Christmas Eve. Since I'm the oldest sibling, I'm forced to play Santa and lay all of the presents underneath the tree at exactly 2 a.m.
I see. Now we have roles. Isn't that kind of like our role?
It is a parent's role.
It's a parent's role.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't make one of the kids do it.
I mean, but they need to be surprised as well, right?
They do. Well, I don't know how old
apparently
this
this
child
is old, probably beyond the age of 8.
Okay, so
something like
I've
that.
done this every year since I was 16.
Okay, so they
So
are a bit
I'm
older.
pretty
Yeah.
used to this job. After my dad and I
like-
finished wrapping,
I like this like a job.
shame, poor child. And they probably just want to sleep in.
I think if they're like 16 years old, they want to sleep in. They definitely do.
After my dad and I finished wrapping the last things that go in the stockings, we went to bed. I usually lie in bed until 1:50 a.m. because if I set an alarm for 2, I might wake up my sisters. So I was on my phone scrolling through social media, watching YouTube, all of that kind of stuff. Well, 1:30 comes around and I'm getting ready to go. I go out of bed and grab all the presents from the basement where the gifts are normally hidden.
Did you say a basement? That's where all the dark things happen, always in basements. Okay, all right, keep going.
If there's nothing that's joyful about looking down those stairs that lead to the basement. That is normally a pretty scary
Because when you
looking.
walk down those stairs and you click on that light bulb and then it starts flickering as you get halfway down the stairs, and then you decide, do I go back up or do I keep going down?
Showed no movie ever.
Yeah, not shown in a movie ever. So
Okay.
All right. So we
So
got.
I start lugging the gifts upstairs, unload them, and then go lay down. A few hours later, we all wake up and begin unwrapping presents.
Okay.
We were almost done with my youngest sister when my youngest sister began to cry. We asked her what's around, and she kept repeating, "Santa hates me.
Oh.
Santa
Oh.
hates me." We are extremely confused. She then points to the most recent present she just opened, and we all looked. The China doll Santa bought her, in quotation marks, was empty. That's a bit strange that you give an empty present. So all
Okay.
that there was an empty box. Now this doll was in a plastic box, the kind you have to cut open, and they're just kind of, goodness gracious, cut open. And I know this. Sorry, everyone. The kind you have to cut open, and I know this because I was the one who wrapped the present.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So
right.
it's the plastic,
No, we've seen those before.
the plastic cover, so you can see the doll through it.
Of course, yeah.
So now the doll was in the plastic box. I looked at my parents, and we all three of us just kind of asked who took the doll without saying that, in front of the younger kids. So after the whole doll fiasco, we just decided to buy a new one and then pretend that Santa accidentally dropped it outside when flying to the top of our house.
That is very creative. Okay, but you'd have to get that doll very quickly.
Yeah,
because you
at that
accidentally
point.
found it outside. Yes.
Well, I just walked into my room and began to put my new Christmas presents away when I noticed something weird. The China doll was laying in the top of my closet.
So the brother took it.
Clearly he didn't.
Oh my gosh.
I ran
Okay.
to my parents and began freaking out about how it's not funny to prank me like that and blah, blah, blah. But they had no idea what I was talking about. I'm ready to burn this doll. Okay.
So
we might have someone messing with the other person over here. Unless,
but are the parents really messing with their older child?
I don't know that they would do that to one of their
I
kids.
don't
That's a
think so.
pretty cruel thing to do.
I mean, it's one
Christmas
thing to
morning.
be, like the story I've shared before, where we pranked my sister with the coal as her present. That's different. I mean, we all kind of were all in on it. But if the parents are not in on it, and there'd be no reason to. I mean, for a young child to receive a doll, it's like that would be a beautiful, beautiful thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for it to be like gone out of the plastic wrapping, and the plastic wrapping is still intact,
and then it's tucked very
and it's
patiently waiting in the top of his closet.
I don't like the way you said that. Patiently waiting. It means the doll is alive.
Doesn't it give you the creeps?
Yeah, it does actually, because I mean, the number of objects that have been taken
and
he
does really seem sincere in the fact that he said he wrapped it the night before. It was in the packaging.
Yeah, so if he was the one who wrapped it, then he's either pranking himself, which probably not.
He wouldn't be writing this post.
He wouldn't be writing this post. But for him to find the doll back with him afterwards.
And then going down to his parents thinking they did it.
Okay, so that is creepy. So the question is, what do you do with the doll?
Just get rid of it at that point.
Get another one that's like it, or get a different one?
Just get a completely different one. Yeah, don't go grab the exact same thing.
That would be very, very scary if the doll showed up again after you got rid of it.
Oh, well, yeah. We've seen that in the movies. That's
like the story, like the Annabelle doll or something like that.
Well, that takes us to the comment over here.
Oh, let's see what we have. No comments.
We about to get old Annabelle up in here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Talk about taking an innocent object and turning it into something very creepy.
My mind cannot even begin to. Honestly, maybe one of the parents are messing with the kids.
But I mean, again, it's like I get the idea of maybe doing something like that if you're pranking, but when you have a little,
but that's so
girl,
much though for him to have wrapped the present, then keep it in the basement, and then a few hours later pick it up, and then
yeah. I mean, if you're pranking somebody like this, I mean, then you prank them for their present, right? Mm-hmm. They open their present, and it's like whatever they were expecting, and then it's like an empty box of it. Then you get kind of this look like, oh, and you have this moment like you can prank them. But now you've involved a little girl.
This is a very unfriendly entity then, if this is something done by something else.
Well, it's the basement. Nothing happens good in the basement.
Let's put the focus on the doll here. I'm pretty sure
The
it's the
doll,
doll.
the basement. Who had access? It was in the basement. Anyway, I'm speculating. I'm throwing this out here, but no, it is very strange. But I would have to agree. This is a very creepy Christmas thing. But if it is entity related, then I wonder if there's anything more that's going on in that house.
Well, we do not have updates over here.
No, that's too bad. That would have been kind of interesting to see if there's more information. But I think that would definitely throw me off completely, especially around the holiday, because
you can
really
imagine that he probably really had a hard time kind of sleeping after that, especially if the parents said that it wasn't them.
I mean, no kidding. Yeah, it's like
Your mind is
it's in
running
your
like
mind,
a roller
but then the
coaster.
doll is there. Even if you toss it out, which you're gonna have to discreetly do so that the doll doesn't show up for the little girl as being tossed, but you're trying to replace it. I mean, or they didn't say anything about giving the doll to the little girl once it was found, which I think I would have a very hard time doing that, because then all of a sudden I feel like that doll would be with her all the time. Which would not be
Just
good.
give her something else. She'll forget about the doll.
She'll forget about the doll, but now it's going to sit in the back of my mind, and clearly it's sat in the back of this person's mind. Yes, so
not something we want in our house. Thank you.
Not a playful ghost.
Okay.
And we have to remind them the Christmas spirit has nothing to do with things like this. Okay. All right.
So our next one is a little Christmas ghost story.
This sounds cute.
I hope it is.
Is Casper involved?
Well, let's find out. So this story is absolutely true. Therefore, we have to believe it. So although there may be a rational explanation, I've never thought of to explain it. Around 25 years ago, I was working in a care home for the elderly on night shifts. There was another member of staff on the premises, asleep on the very top floor, but otherwise I was alone for 10 hours. The person was only there in case someone passed away or fell or I needed urgent help. Otherwise, they were never to be disturbed. The building itself was old and a listed building in a small village and quite isolated. I had previously served as a children's it had previously served as a children's home, and place for soldiers to recover in World War II.
So you have so much that they're adding into this. A children's home, that's usually another word for an orphanage, right?
Yes.
Something like it. And you've got World War II recovery, so that means you have a lot of emotion that comes with trauma, which is the war recovery.
A lot of history tied into
this. And so this
place.
is an old place, and it's already set up in a way that you're all by yourself, because the person up there is presumably sleeping through everything. And now it's completely taken on a new life as sort of a convalescent home for the elderly.
Oh, it's action-packed in this one.
This is almost like the setup for a really good movie. Okay, let's see.
So it was a nice place and the residents were treated very well. On a few occasions, always when I was cleaning one of the lounges, I'd see a jet black tall man walk swiftly through the old main door and through a newly added wall. Platform 9 3/4. Did you catch on? The guy walks through the door. Platform 9 3/4, like Harry Potter.
The Harry Potter thing, yeah. That's okay. But the jet black and everything else, okay. All right.
So the first time I saw him, I was quite unsettled. After 2 or 3 times, I figured he was a recording of a past event.
Oh, this is the idea of the memory.
Interesting.
So this is the ghost versus the spirit.
Somehow replaying. Other times, objects would move an inch or two. For example, a glass of water slid across the table by itself and almost gave me heart failure.
Yeah, that would do that for me too if I'm watching a glass move across the table. Okay.
And you're alone as well. So one night on Christmas Eve, close to midnight, a resident came wandering down the hallway. She couldn't sleep and wanted a hot chocolate. She kept saying the children were keeping her awake. Oh my gosh, my entire body shivers. She was one of the residents that sometimes got confused, so I made her a drink and settled her in the lounge. I figured she could keep me company while I ironed. Then a call bell went off.
Mhm.
I went to answer it, and another resident said they couldn't sleep because of the children laughing.
Okay, so having one person who might be confused, which means they may have dementia, you could say, okay,
Okay, I'll let it slide.
you let it slide because it's all right. It's them. You're caring for them, and you're not. This is not. There's no judgment involved. But when you get two of them, okay, now we're having preponderance of evidence here.
Okay, so that unsettled me a bit. So I searched the building and checked everyone, 20 people. Everything was fine and most were sound asleep. 5 or 10 minutes later, a third resident used the buzzer and asked me to shh the children.
Okay, this is a beautiful build
Oh,
up.
wow.
This is truly the plot for a movie. I mean, I could turn this one into kind of a book by itself.
Can you imagine what's going through this person's mind?
Well, they clearly know the history of the place,
At least
right?
the children are laughing. It's not like it's anything creepy. So I was a bit rattled at that point.
When you have ghosts laughing, even if they're kids,
Hmm.
there is a little something there. So,
So, with 3 people saying it, I thought I'd search again and make sure no one upstairs had put their TV on loudly, because that's probably
I
also,
think that would
yeah.
be the rational explanation. Yeah.
Just as I was about to go upstairs, a single marble dropped down the corridor and hit my feet. I heard the distinctive sound of children laughing, more of a giggle. Knowing I had elderly people to look after and protect, I ran towards the sound.
Was that a mistake?
I don't know. What do
I
you?
don't know. I mean, when it's like
Oh, you know the protectiveness. Knowing I had elderly people to take care of, I ran towards the sound,
I ran towards the sound, and
and then
then
I.
it wasn't the child. It was the stealthful killer with the axe
Okay,
waiting. Okay, no.
no,
Anyway,
it's not that type of horror.
but that does seem like a very interesting reaction. I think I would do the same. I would actually go to the sound.
So no one was there, and there was no way anyone could have run off because I would have heard the fire doors open and shut. I
Mm.
searched the whole building anyway and checked every door and window. Everything was fine. No TVs or radios on, nothing. I went to the main door and hit the outside lights, not a soul in sight. I went back inside and said loud, okay, okay, give me a break, please. I'm scared enough. And I was scared. My hands didn't stop shaking all shift. The rest of the night was fine though. I did work there for roughly a year after, and aside from a few lights turning themselves off, nothing else of note happened. I still have the marble thought that I've kept. Just to mention, I only worked 3 nights a week because I had another job. But as nice as the place and the residents were, they could never hang on to night staff. They were always left 1 or 2 shifts, always left after 1 or 2 shifts until the law changed and 2 staff members had to be awake and working. Wow,
This one is
that's a job. That's quite the job to stay in a place like that while all that activity is going on.
so if you have a predisposition of being jumpy, even if the children are laughing and they're not there, you're definitely going to feel it.
Mhm.
But
Well, imagine the energy tied to that place
yes,
from all those past residents being in there. And I
yeah.
mean, I understand that the elderly people now living there are probably, have some sort of dementia. They're very they're far later in life, but they're also sensitive like a younger child would be.
When you have a group experience like that, a single person, you sort of write it off, right? I mean, but then the group experience, and then that person is experiencing it, then you've sort of eliminated this idea that somebody was remembering something.
But it's also not a single event that occurred. It's
Multiple.
consecutive events right after each other, and you know, lights flickering on and off. It's still an event. But a glass of water
I
moving across the table, and then this
so
big one. Whoa.
so for me, the inquisitive person here would really be trying to research the history of the place. I would really want to try to know a bit more about what happened as it went through its different uses. Then it would be easier to understand. Now, the question is, and I guess we'll ask the audience this question, would you be able to coexist with play,
Make peace.
make peace with playful children spirits that happen to still be in the place that they were comfortable?
Honestly, I know it's like bone chilling to think about there being souls and entities like living around you. But
Mhm.
if they don't give you cause or reason with a very scary action, like something to do with a knife falling, or something that really seems to try and scare you, a child throwing a marble across the floor or downstairs, that's like pretty playful, or the giggling. There's never
Yeah, it
the
is.
events tying together. It doesn't seem like there was anything that
Well,
stood out to be scary.
let me ask you this. Well, something a little different. You and I have always talked about hopefully one day having. So Savannah and I would love to have a home that has history. I mean, this is something we've talked about. Not that this is necessarily a practical idea, but this is kind of us just chatting about it. If we were to live in a house that had that kind of history, I mean, let's just say it, let's say a couple centuries, right? Just give it that.
Hmm.
And so this idea of being part of something that has a beautiful history, and we had a ghost, how would
And
you
that
feel?
happened.
How would you
Honestly,
feel?
I would my decision would be based on frequency. If it was constant and it really seemed to take over, then I'd probably say let's move. But if this was a once in a every blue moon occurrence, and it's not like it, the biggest thing is, does it startle the kids? Does it bother the kids?
Well,
No, because I mean they're going to live around it too, so they'd be my number one. But to have something constantly like every day, and it's almost like a pestering activity to try and get your attention and take over, and then at that point it's like, okay, where do we draw the line? But
yeah,
if it really is like this, and it seemed to be very spread out over the year that the person was working over there, I don't see it as, unless you feel a very negative energy. So
I
definitely
think that's the key part.
have your energy read the room in a situation like this. And if you feel on edge, then okay, you call it. You either leave the job or leave the house, whatever it is, move. But your energy is going to be your biggest friend in a situation like
I
this.
I think I would have to agree with you. I don't know that it would, if we accept that you're with history, and every place has a lot of it, whether you can go anywhere you want to. I mean, so if we're close to us, for example, there's the Mission Inn, which is a very old structure. There's not a lot in California that's that old. Would you, and it's known to have some hauntings, okay, just in general as its own history. Would that be detrimental? I mean, where we have the Queen Mary, which is docked there, and obviously that's a ship, but it's purported to be haunted as well. We have the Winchester House. I mean, there's a few things out here. We don't have enough, but when you start living
But
in
it's
places
different
that
because
are,
if you go to a place like that just to visit, to see something happens, but if you're living at a place it's a whole different situation.
so I
What would
don't,
you do?
I think I would follow the same instinct that you have.
Mhm.
If they're playful and they're present, but they don't necessarily.
It's not about taking
It's not
over.
about taking
Mhm.
over or trying to cause mischief.
Mhm.
I would be very curious, and I would want to learn more.
Mhm.
But I also, from my side, since I subscribe a bit more to the idea of myths that are out there, that there's always a basis in reality of a myth, is there might be actually more. I mean, I would be so incredibly curious to see the history of the land on top of it, not just the place
Well,
that's
even
there.
if you could pinpoint who exactly, I
Well, I
guess.
think there's something about the unknown versus the known, right?
Mhm.
Even though it's very different, I don't think I would be bothered by it. I think it would be part of the. I'm not going to say the charm of the place, but it certainly would be part of living there, and then just coming to terms with it. But I do agree with you. If you ended up being in a place where you do feel that negative energy, I would want to find a way to either get rid of the negative energy, and I'm not sure exactly how I would do that,
Mhm.
or I don't think I'd want to be there. And I mean, frankly, what changes a lot is, as parents, and even getting married to Savannah would change a lot. If she was uncomfortable, that would be enough.
If anyone is
But
uncomfortable, quite frankly, in the house.
if she's uncomfortable and the kids are are like in some kind of sense of they're agitated in some way because they're very sensitive as little souls, then that would be like
Yeah, it's
there's
no
no
doubt.
question. But if it were just me by myself, I probably would be more curious and be the
The
investigator. The
investigator.
investigator. Yeah.
So we do have someone that's commented on it.
Oh, okay. Let's see what they have.
I'm
It
literally.
looks like you haven't set.
Sorry, everyone. That was Siri welcoming themselves into our podcast episode.
Was that a haunting? So,
I didn't say it, so I don't know why I responded. Okay, so I'm literally working night shift at a resident care facility right now, and I read this. It's after 3 a.m. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be haunted here too. 2 weeks ago, I was trying to nap on my break. I felt a finger press into my back. Was laying on my side and heard a child say hi.
oh,
Didn't turn around to check, figured it was either my tired brain or a ghost. Either way, why give it energy?
that is so funny. It's like I'm going to go ahead and just ignore it, and it's going to go away. How
You
many?
must be pretty laid back to just ignore that.
No, but it's not. It's like if I keep saying it's not there, it's not there, it's not there.
The power of the mind.
The power of the mind. But I find that rather amusing that I'm just going to go ahead and ignore it like it wasn't there, but something pressed into my back. I don't think I could ignore it. I don't know that I would necessarily be upset by it, but I don't think I could ignore it. But that's kind of funny. That was the response. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and pretend like it wasn't
and it's
there.
like I know it's a haunted place here, but yeah, I couldn't give a care in the world right now.
Yeah, I need to just get my sleep.
So we do have a community here on Reddit called Paranormal Encounters, and the title of the story is called Christmas Experience.
Okay.
So we'll see what Christmas has to do with this
That's
experience.
very open-ended. So let's see what we have here.
So this was in December of 2000 when my sister and I were 5 and 6. My parents were dirt poor, recovering drug addicts at the time. We lived in a dinky apartment in a ghetto of my town. We had the super heavy ceramic Santa Claus figurine on our coffee table in the middle of the living room. It was Christmas Eve when my parents had decided to close the evening with a little Christmas story. My sister and I sat on the floor behind the coffee table. My mom sat on the couch, and Dad was in his favorite recliner. The book Mom read was called A Cosmic Christmas, which illustrates Jesus' birth from an angel/demon perspective and describes how the demons battled with the angels and did everything they could to stop this birth. My mom was crying, reading towards the end of the story when the Santa Claus figurine literally flew off the coffee table at an angle and made a hole in the wall.
That's a launch. Back up for a second here. How old are they?
5 and 6.
They're 5 and 6.
And Mom is reading
a story
that you probably shouldn't be reading your child at that
not a
age.
5 and 6-year-old. No, I wouldn't quite do that.
No.
That's not what I would call the magic of reindeer and North Pole and Santa.
It just shows, I think, where they were at the time.
Yeah, and I can sort of see that.
So it was like it had been legitimately thrown because there's no way it could have made it a full 6 feet to the wall without some force behind it, especially going through the wall.
No kidding.
Force enough to break the wall, I don't know. I still think about that from time to time and try to apply real world logic to those night's events. But it's like mental gymnastics. That's very well put, honestly.
Yeah, it's very well put.
My parents were freaked out for a solid hour at least, while my sister and I marched around chanting, "We aren't scared of Satan." Yeah, that's tied to the story Mom was reading.
Yeah, so I'll throw this out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think individuals who suffer, and I'll say it this way because I think it's a fair way to say it, that suffer from drug addiction, they're carrying a very negative energy with them. Now that source, I don't think it's just themselves. I think they're pulling it from around them, and then it sort of channels through them, and then
it's consuming them.
And it's consuming them. They're obviously they're participating in this consumption of themselves in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what was really key to me in the story was the fact that the parents had gone through wherever they were in their stage of the potential of their recovery. But that's where I think that very big darkness comes in. And so it might have come in to the mom's mind that the story was very important to have these dimensions because Christmas is meant to be a joyful time. And even if you go back centuries and you start discoupling it from the Christian direct celebration, you also don't have in think of it as predecessors to that as they got incorporated into what we see Christmas today. It was not a negative time. It was not something that was a dark energy. It was not a battle, between good and evil. And so having the story brought through from the mom to the kids was, I think, channeling this.
If we have a look at the parents had a previous addiction with alcohol consumption
Yeah,
and drugs. So from what it seems, it's almost like it's very easy to put blame on someone else. Now, in this case, Satan. Satan is, somehow coming into this house with the story, throwing this figurine across the wall to send a message. In this
sure.
case, is
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
I think they're believing at this
Mhm.
point. It's very easy to turn around and say, "Oh, this is Satan in the house," rather than you know tied to owning up to the being wrong with the addiction and not that the world is out to get you at all in any means, and
But I
this is the
mean,
channeling the energy out so that you can welcome good energy. If you're stuck on the bad, you're going to welcome the bad.
so even with that as an explanation, and I agree with you, the question is, how did the figurine or the very heavy figurine of Santa get launched? I mean, to the point where you're actually going right through drywall.
First thing that comes to mind is that mom was reading a story to a 5 and 6 year old that
Well,
honestly do not read to a 5 and 6 year old in any day and age. I don't think it's okay. And maybe someone was trying to send a message like, just stop. Maybe they were just trying to stop the story from being told and said, okay, enough is enough. Snap out of it.
so you're bringing up an interesting thought. Do you feel that it's potential that somebody who goes through this very dark part of their life, right? I mean, addiction would be that a good description of that, that they attract darkness throughout the outside. I mean, call it like entities that are suffering as
I
well.
think that's possible. In this case, I think there might have been someone watching over the kids.
So is this
I don't
potentially?
think this was about scaring the kids. It could have been. I could be very wrong, but I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that there was something there that's like, why are you reading this angel slash fighting demons, on Christmas Eve, when a 5 and 6 year old should be doing nothing but laughing, running in the hall, playing with toys, being
Yeah.
excited about Santa, and just, someone watching over them and saying, okay, enough is enough. And it was about protecting the mind of these two beautiful children.
Well, it definitely cut off the story.
It cut it off.
So,
Apparently, the parents were freaked for like a complete hour
which
afterwards.
is, I would say, I'm glad that they were, because that is not something that I would
So
want
for
any
me,
any five or
it
six
could
year
be
old to
both
explain.
ways.
Yeah.
It could be they attracted a very negative energy in the house, and that's it got frustrated, or it really wanted to give them a good scare, or it was the latter, and it was just very protective.
Well, this is in the realm of, can people be haunted? And I would have to say yes. So
You are what you attract.
I think you are what you attract, and
Mhm.
I think we're big believers of this in general, because if you wake up in the morning and you feel a sense of gratitude for your
Oh,
life,
it's gonna be a bad day. It's gonna be a blue
yeah,
Monday. It is gonna be a bad day.
I can tell you, if you get up in the morning and you really look for the worst in the world, you will find it.
Hmm.
But conversely, it's exactly the opposite. If you get up in the morning and you say, I'm going to look for the best in the world, you will also find it.
You will find
Uh,
something to be absolutely happy about and smile
you know,
if
I,
that's what you choose to do.
and I really do sincerely and fondly believe that if we walk out in the morning and we remember what we're grateful for, we start that path, that energy path that's different for the day.
Mhm.
And it's beautiful. I mean, it starts with something very simple, and it could be, in my case, reaching over to Savannah in the morning and just telling her I love her in the morning. It doesn't
And
have
being
to be.
grateful to wake up to each
Yeah.
other in the morning, and we get the gift of another day.
Yes, we get the gift of another day, or watching Rylan smile, or
It was
or
like he wakes up and our son stands in his crib and he's like, he's so happy to see us walk through the
right.
door
So
after a long night's
so
sleep.
I confess, I have to say that when I go and fetch him, and I open the door, I kind of look in, I peek in there, and I see him, and
Yeah.
then the anticipation, he
He has
gets
this
very very excited, because
rising smile.
there's a lot of that beautiful smile and the joy of starting the day, and then he has his little routine where he wants to open the blinds and things like that. So it's really fun to see this morning with him. But those are the things that you can find, and I'm not trying to simplify this concept of people going through quite a bit, like with addiction, but bigger topic, not for today. But if you start studying how people get to where they are, and you can really truly help them understand that, that's when you can clear it, because the addiction is symptomatic of something on the outside that's already occurring on the inside.
Yeah, that's why you surround
So
yourself with people with good intentions, good energy, people
yeah,
that literally drive your energy through the roof, energize you, and make you want to do good. Don't surround
so
yourself with, the negative, because unfortunately it will be, you do consume what you're around,
so
because it's the energy directly around you.
I think your assessment's the one I like. I think it makes sense that there was still some of this channeling of the darkness that the parents were going through, and the children were listening to this as they would be listening to their parents. And then something came in and said, "Yeah, we don't want to continue this,"
Mhm.
and it really freaked out the parents. Didn't freak out the kids as much as it freaked out the parents.
They still remember it though.
They still
I hope
remember it.
they're better off
So I
right
think you
now.
could. I think if we see the positives to this, is that the children saw this, remembered this, and remembered the end of that story as maybe a driver for, Christmas is a beautiful time, and it is a time to have the joy and bring that into your heart.
The reason why I think it was very much from a very protective point of view is there is a reason this child remembered vividly the title of that book and what it was about and what they were listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very important part of the story. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned it. But please be merry, be jolly, be happy for the holidays. If you don't like Christmas, it's okay, be happy anyway. I know it's not for everyone. Some people dread this time of the year. Either which way, there's absolutely no reason to have a smile on your face and be grateful for the most simplest of things.
I do agree. We love this season. We love making it special, and it's also one of the best things you can do is share it with others, even those who are struggling with it. If we're able to bring some joy in what we do during, it's year round for us, but certainly it's even more special during Christmas. I think take this as an opportunity for you as a community out there to make a difference with others, because we are one community, and sharing Christmas is one of the most beautiful ways to share in that community and bring hope and joy.
There's always room to grow, so let's all grow together. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at the Corner podcast.
Yes.
Until
Until
next
our
time.
next one.
Thank
you
you.
again.
Bye.